Right, we get started. Right, so 5C, record retention. Right, so Malcolm, president of AIS, right, small investment firm. So the clients are long-time associates. Okay, so for decades, right? So he has a close personal relationship. So Malcolm is very familiar with his clients, right? So he keep in touch, of all the life-changing events. So and he adjusts the portfolio accordingly. Okay, so he regularly meets with them in his office and sees them on numerous occasions outside the office. So he gives them an update on the investment. All right. So yes, the clients, they can complete a client agreement and risk profile, right, when opening the account, and those profiles are updated, right, as Malcolm finds the time to do so. Right. So this is a key part. Right. So now, right. So the gist of 5C, right, record retention, okay, says that we must develop and maintain, right? Develop and maintain. That's the key word. Develop and maintain appropriate records, right? So, and the other keyword is appropriate records, right? Appropriate records. So appropriate, that means the record should be current and duly updated, not when Malcolm finds the time to do so. Right. So yeah, here this part here, he has a close relationship, right? He's very familiar with them, right? And he communicates with them regularly, right? All right. So and he adjusts the portfolio, on a timely basis, right? Right. He has done all this, but the records are not updated, right? Are not updated. So you must look at the true spirit of 5C. 5C says you must maintain appropriate records. So appropriate means it must be current and conscientiously updated. Okay. All right. So now, uh, I mean, if any third party were to challenge him, and ask him for the records, right? So Malcolm wouldn't be able to provide the record. So the key question is, would Malcolm be able to provide up-to-date records as and when he's asked to do so? That's a key question. All right. All right. So that's a key question. Right. So who wants the answers to be reviewed? Now, Freddie Lim. Freddie Lim, do you want your answer to be reviewed? Freddie Lim, asking you a second time. Freddie Lim, I'm asking you a third time. No response. Right. Chia Chiao Yu, you want your answer to be reviewed? Chia Chiao Yu. Right. I don't know where you get this from. Right now, we the standard states that we must maintain something here. Right? You didn't even present the standard properly. Right? This part here, there's nothing here. You're just restating the facts. Right? This one, nothing here. There's nothing here. You're just stating the facts, restating the facts, nothing. However, right, this part here, at least he said he did not retain records, but very brief. And recommended right, and he should be here, and he should maintain records for 7 years. Okay, 7 years, not several years. You have to be specific. Not several years. There's a time frame. There's a time limit, right? Hence, he should be having you will fail. This one you get 35 to 40 marks. 35 to 40% you will fail. Right? There's hardly anything here. Boon Jiaxin, you want your answer to be reviewed? Right, good. Right, Boon Jiaxin, this is your answer, right? Try to use Times New Roman, size 12. Very difficult to read. Use Times New Roman, please. Again, you didn't do this properly, right? State that we, right? We, right? Then we, right? Now here is not where appropriation of record. What is this? Malcolm, very familiar. Yeah, you got half a point here. Right? I mean, you see, like this statement from here, right? Your second statement. You're just restating without adding anything. Right? If you say something like, although Malcolm is very familiar, blah, 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 he did not do that, right? Do it this way. Right? I mean, you won't get any marks. So here, I mean, you're half correct here. Evaluation, okay, you have some substance here, right? This part that I take the last sentence, right? So Malcolm obtained the client agreement. Again, this part, nothing here. The first statement, nothing. You're just restating the facts. Well, and that the profile was updated. Are you sure? Are you sure? Acceptable. And he has not violated. Wrong. You will fail this one. You got it all wrong. Right. Quote it properly. States that we must do all this right. Right. The key word is appropriate record. Develop and maintain. So when you develop, it's an ongoing process, right? It's an ongoing process. Now, appropriate records, right here. Now, see appropriate records, right? So in the true context of 5C denotes that record should be current and consciously updated, right? Not when Malcolm finds to do so. So I'm zooming in on that particular statement, right? The key part, not when Malcolm finds the time to do so. So it should be current and consciously updated. This is a very important point, super important point, right? Which relates to standard 5C, all right? So now here I say is blah, 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 right? So now I say, that's why I use although, right? Right? Although, right? I'm stating the facts of the case, right? Close relationship, blah, 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 right? Blah, 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 right? Blah, 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 blah. So semicolon here, right? All these. So although he has done all these, right? Semicolon, right? All these, right? Does not absolve him from maintaining appropriate record, right? Does not absolve him from maintaining appropriate records, right? Right. In the true context of standard 5C, which in this case includes updating his client's profile diligently. This is what is meant by appropriate records, right? Okay. Right. So if Malcolm is challenged, right? Somebody asks him to provide the records, right? And asked to provide the updated records. It will be impossible for Malcolm to establish and prove that his firm has identified the needs and circumstances of his clients and has taken these into account in recommending investment. So he must prove, he must establish and prove. How can he establish and prove? By the records. Again, it goes back to the records, right? So if you have appropriate records, you can establish and prove that it's from the records, not from your just a word of mouth. Has identified the needs and circumstances of his clients, right, and taken this into account in recommending investments, right? Hence, right, he is in violation of 5C. Now, the past few weeks, right, I've already shown you how to answer, and yet I think most of you still don't get it. I don't know why. Still don't get it. I think you don't even bother to study the lecture notes properly, right? You don't even bother to study it properly. Either that, and then coupled with your bad writing, I think the passing mark won't be. I think the passing rate won't be that good in this class compared to my previous classes. Right. So this is 5C now. Right. So to be fair to all students who have submitted, right? So Bunjasin, yeah, Bunjasin, right? Right, Bunjasin, right. So Lee Min Yang. Lee Min Yang. You want your answer to be reviewed? Lee Min Yang, I'm asking you a second time. Lee Min Yang. I'm asking you a third time. You want your answer to be reviewed? You're not even in the class, Lee Min Yang. You're not even in the class. Lee Min Yang, you're in the class, yeah. Lee Min Yang, can you respond? Since you submitted, you want your answer to be reviewed? No. Okay, no. All right. So I will talk about tutorial 6.1. So Raymond, right, CEO, founding partner of Luxor, right? Raymond provides asset management and allocation services for high net worth individuals and a number of small institutional clients. Okay, now his services include investing client funds with third-party sub-advisors, right, who have a specialty in a particular asset class. Okay, Raymond's clients are aware of and approve Luxor's allocation of their assets, right, to these sub-advisors, right, so they're aware. The third-party sub-advisors make payments, right, to Luxor based on the total amount of a client's assets placed, right, or invested in certain sub-advisor funds. So Raymond initially sought to negotiate a direct economic benefits for clients. All right, but the sub-advisors will not agree and payments were made directly to Luxor. Right, so this is about disclosure of conflicts, right? Now this particular standard, you must make full and fair disclosure. That's a keyword in the standard. Okay, full and fair disclosure of any matters that are expected to impair your independence and objectivity, or anything which may interfere with your duties to your clients. Right, so now the key part here, this key point, this is one of the key points, right? The third-party sub-advisors only have a specialty in a particular asset class, right? This sort of implies that these third-party advisors, right, may not necessarily be the best sub-advisors because they only have a specialty in a particular asset class, right? So now here I'm saying, right, that the clients are aware, right? They're aware. All right. So you must make use of this statement, not just quote, quote and then say nothing, right? So, okay, now they're aware, right? They're aware. But then again, the financial objective, the financial incentive for Luxor has not been disclosed, this part here. Okay. Right. So there's payment by the sub-advisors to Luxor, right? Right. Based on the client assets. Okay. Right. So in other words, right, so these payments, can create a conflict of interest, these payments here. All right. So in other words, right, the sub-advisors, right, should actually direct all these payments or the benefits of these payments, right, to the clients, right? So now, even though, right, the sub-advisors will not agree, right, and payments will made directly to Luxor, right? So, I mean, if the payments or the benefits from these payments were made to the clients, right, then there'll be no conflict of interest, right? So now, otherwise, right, otherwise you must make full disclosure, right? Full disclosure, right? That means right, and then ultimately pass the benefit, right, of all these payments to the client. Maybe you can give the clients a discount because you receive all these payments. All right. So the benefit should be passed to the client, and there must be disclosure, right? Okay. Right. So this is the key points in the case. Right. So now, Lo Hui Shen, going back to you, 6.1. You want your answer to be revealed, Lo Hui Shen? Good. Right. Okay. First part. Okay. First statement. Nothing. Some of these. Nothing. There's nothing here. Right. You won't get any marks here. That's what I'm saying. But the third party was refused. Very clumsy in the way you write. So I don't really know what you mean. Right, this part there's some essence here, right? Yeah, he tried to bring the economic benefits. Yeah, good, this part. But the third party advisors, right? Don't just use third party sub-advisors. Use a full word, right? Make payment to Luxor. And then why here? This part here, I don't know why. What are you writing here? I think you will still fail. You will still fail. You will get probably 30 to 40%. Any question? You will still fail. Any question? Agnes Yule? Agnes Yule? You here? You want your answer to be reviewed? You didn't do question 1. Okay. So you only do question 1. You only state a standard. Right. Li Zijian. Li Zijian, you want your answer to be reviewed? Li Zijian, are you here? Li Zijian, I'm asking you a second time. You don't want your answer to be reviewed. Then I don't know what you're doing. Chin DC, you want your answer to be reviewed? Right, okay, good. Right, Chin DC, this is your answer. Right, it's not means, right? Okay, just say states that, right? States that don't use member and candidates again, right? States that we must, we are not a member yet. You're not a candidate yet, right? States that we must make, okay? Okay, fine. All right, still a bit clumsy the way, right? But still nothing here. This part, you won't get any marks because you're just restating. Right, here, okay, now here. In this case, Raymond should avoid, okay, good. All right, good. All right, good. This part, good. If the should steer clear, right? Should steer clear and what? And completely disclose their existence to let employer and client have the information needed to evaluate the objectivity. Oh, all right. But here, I mean, you're just making a very general statement without really analyzing the facts here. Chindisi, I think you will still fail. You will still fail. All right. You will get 45%, 45 to 50. I think you will still fail. Any question? Right, now look at my answer. right? Right. So the essence of this standard, right, is about making full and fair disclosure. All right. Okay. Of all matters that could reasonably be expected to impair your independence and objectivity, right? About avoiding conflict of interest, right? Okay. Now, you see how I straight away I zoom in on the facts, right? And I sort of make my analysis, right? So Raymond invested client funds with third-party supervisors, right, who only have a specialty in a particular asset class, right? So this implies, right, that these third party may not necessarily be the best supervisors. This is one key point. Okay, so there's some suspicion, right? So that they're given because of this financial incentive. You get the point. Okay, so they got the job because of this financial incentive. That's the point, right? So although Raymond's clients are aware of, right, and approve Luxor's allocation of assets, right? You see, how you use the word although, right? So the rest is from the statements, right? Although he has done this, right, it seems, right, that the financial incentive for Luxor has not been disclosed, right? This is a key part, right? Because this is about disclosure of conflict. Okay, right? The payments by the supervisors to Luxor based on the amount, create, right? So this payment create a potential conflict of interest because it incentivize Raymond to hire those supervisors that pay the fee to Luxor. Right, now this is also linked to this, right? They're not the best because they are, or they only have a specialty in a particular asset class, right? So probably, I mean, there's some suspicion here, there's some incentive given. This is the incentive. All right, so this is your analysis, right? This is the analysis, right? So now, okay, so this is what is wrong, right? So to ensure compliance with standard 6A, right? Raymond should, you see how the words are used is very safe word, right? Should ensure that any economic benefit, right? I use a general term, received from the supervisor should be redirected or channeled to his clients, right? Even though Raymond initially attempted to negotiate a direct benefit for his clients, but this proposal was rejected. Now, even though, so the rest of the sentence, right, is from the passage. You see how I use although, even though, all right? So alternatively, Raymond should make, right? So if it's not channel, right? Alternatively, right? Or the other option, right? Raymond should make full disclosure, right? So going back to full and fair disclosure again. Going back to the statement again, right? Of the financial incentive, right? This is the key part. Receive and should ultimately pass this benefit on to his clients in the form of a discount, right? With full disclosure pertaining to the source and nature of the discount. Right, so this is a complete answer. I've covered all the points. All right, any question? Any question? Right, so now I talk about case 2. Right, case 2 is about priority of transactions, right? Right, so Kenny is a trader, right? That manage several large mutual funds, right? So he executes the equity buy-sell orders for the portfolio managers, right? Of one of the company's mutual fund. So he has the discretion to execute the orders at any time during the day, depending on market conditions, right? So prior to executing the orders, right, he contacts several close friends and relatives to provide them, right, with information on what securities are to be traded by the mutual fund. All right. Okay, so this is the key part. He contacts. Okay. So in turn, they make trades that mirror the imminent trades to be executed by Kenny on behalf of the mutual fund. All right, so this is priority transactions. Right, so now remember the word front running that I used in the lecture, front running, right? So this is still front running because he's actually using the information to front run. Yeah, he himself doesn't do it, but he's giving it to his friends, right? So this is still tantamount to front running, right? So Kenny may not have directly benefited financially, right? So, but then he benefited in the sense that his friends benefited. So if his friends benefited, his friends owe him a favor. So so Kenny benefit in that respect. You understand? So this is still unethical because he is still front running. He is still front running. All right. When you front run, that means you are not giving priority of transactions to your client. Are you with me? Right. So now